Okay.
I'd like to call the regular meeting of January 27th, 2014 to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coulter,
Present.
Ms. Bowles.
Here.
Ms. Kraut.
Here.
Mr. Thied.
Present.
Ms. Beard.
Here. Mrs. Funderburg is on her
Just
way
walked in, so she's coming around the corner.
Funderburg is coming around the corner.
There she comes.
Buckley is here.
Do we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature by the Board of Education and will be acted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items. If any member of the board or any citizen requests discussion of an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will become the first item of business under the report of the superintendent portion of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Motion made by Mr. Kudrick, supported by Mrs. Kraut. The consent agenda consists of item A, approval to approve the minutes of the Board of Education, a special meeting of January 13th, 2014, and regular meeting of January 13th, 2014. To approve the personnel actions as was submitted by Rebecca Peck, Director of Human Resources. Resignation, second grade teacher, employment of a second grade teacher, and a Spanish teacher. Is that everything? Yeah. And then C, approval to approve the bills for payment as submitted by Anna Bosides, Interim Finance Director, in the amount of $688,781.89. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is report of the superintendent.
Good evening, Board. First of all, it's January, and that's Board of Education Recognition Month. So thank you. The candles are from me to take home and because you light the way for our children. So enjoy that. But we also have a resolution from Wayne County Regional Educational Service Agency to the Board of Education. And I'll read that off. Whereas Wayne County School Board members focus their efforts on educating our youth, promoting their economic, social, and intellectual success, and whereas the Board of Education of the 32 contiguous school districts of Wayne County recognizes and embraces their roles in providing quality education for all children attending schools in these districts, and whereas these committed public servants voluntarily contribute countless hours of service on behalf of students of Wayne County, and whereas the current political climate in Lansing continues to challenge those boards of education to continue to develop and implement board policies in reaction to legislative mandates that may or may not be in the best interest of their students. And whereas every day our local school boards do the most important work of their communities, that is educating our youth. And whereas total control continues to be great importance and plays a vital role in the success of public education. And whereas the state of Michigan and the State Board of Education have declared January 2014 as School Board Recognition Month. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wayne County Regional Educational Service Agency Board of Education, in the spirit of the School Board Recognition Month theme, School Boards Lead Strong, recognizes, celebrates, and commends the dedication, contributions, and leadership of the Wayne County School Board of Education.
Yeah, I have we have a motion here to accept the recognition resolution as submitted by Wayne County RESA. Can I have a motion, please? I move that the Board of Education accept the recognition resolution as submitted by Wayne County Regional Education Service Agency Board of Education.
Support.
Is that Mr. Kudrick?
Yes.
Okay, supported by Mrs. Kraut, supported by Mr. Kudrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. And I'd just like to make a note that Danielle, I think it was in our update, that Danielle Funderburg is now representative on the Wayne County Association of School Boards as of recently. So congratulations, senior.
Congratulations.
Stick your foot in.
He doesn't have much of a choice, does he?
College program. Lord.
So, good evening. We would just like to update you on where we stand so far.
Mrs.
Uh,
Meckeridge?
Can you turn on the microphone, the top button? Yes, you got a top button.
And if
and
it's
you can-
easier, you can take it out of the stand to use it.
Just the top button. Tap it. Now you
It's
got
on
it.
now.
Oh, perfect timing. Hi, come on in.
And she brought us coffee.
Yes, perfect. Enough for everybody?
Well, at least me and John.
So I would like to also introduce a couple of our early college students. This is Rayshawn Atkins and Asia Hall, as well as Asia's mom, Tiffany Hall. So we would just kind of like to update you on how things have been going so far. We are off to a fantastic start. Just so you know how the school year started for these students, they actually began their school year the week of August 12th. So before school started, we spent a week at Wayne County Community College taking a community college orientation course. We spent the week learning how to use the Learning Resource Center, how to use the library, where to buy food, where the bookstore is, who to go to, just to kind of get acclimated with the campus. Also learning study skills and those type of things. That class was taught by a Wayne County Community College professor. We kind of did it in conjunction with each other. Then they started in their courses, and we took 2 classes the first semester. They took Political Science 101 and Speech 100. And as you can see, our students did extremely well. We ended the first semester with a combined college GPA of 3.67. So, and of our 38 students that started in the early college program, 37 of them passed both courses with a C or higher. That is the requirement from Wayne County Community College. In order to earn credit, you have to have a C or higher in the course. So we did extremely well. They worked really hard. So kind of a little bit about why our students are being successful. A few things are happening over at the high school. One of them is on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The students are with us for a study skills course. So they spend 4th hour at the high school because they're at the college on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And during that 4th hour time that we're together, we do some whole group study activities. We talk about how to study for tests, looking at some of the differences between professors and teachers. And I think they can kind of speak a little bit to that, noticing the difference on how a college professor expects things versus high school teachers. We also work on some small group study activities. We really try to use this as a time that they can get together. They can work on projects, study for tests, kind of going around the room. Okay, what do we have to work on? What happened in class? What things do we need to do for the next class? Just so that everybody is together and making sure that everyone is focused and doing what they need to do. We also do weekly study logs that the students turn in to me. One of the requirements at the beginning of the program was you should be studying an average of 10 hours a week outside of school and outside of the 3 hours that you spend with me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I asked them to document that and turn that in to me on Fridays. So, you know, we can kind of track that and see how they're doing. Also, I do weekly grade reviews with them on their high school grades as well. So if there are any issues, I see anything falling off in high school classes, we work on that as well. And then we've had a ton of support from the faculty and staff at Wayne County Community College. So this first semester was great. And I think this is kind of a good time to have Rayshawn and Asia speak. And what I had asked them to just talk about, I kind of gave them 3 questions to answer for you. And one was, how do they think their first semester went? You know, what were sort of the positive points of the first semester and how things are going? And also to talk about the challenges a little bit, what they learned this first semester as a college student, and then what their plans are when they complete this program. So what is next for them? Who wants to start? You got it, Rayshawn? Okay.
Hi, board. My first semester with the early college program was great. Like, the professors were extremely nice. They understand that we're trying to balance high school and college at the same time, so they kind of know where we're coming from. So they kind of went lenient on us, but still they expect the most out of us. They expect 100% dedication and effort. So it was just a great opportunity for all of us to see how college life is. My plans after the program, I want to continue to go to college, probably in-state, maybe Michigan State, out of state, Johns Hopkins, and I want to study anesthesiology. So I feel like right now we're doing biology, and I feel like these programs are going to help me go towards my career goals.
Hi, board. My first semester at Wayne Community College was great as well. At first going in, I was a little nervous, but as the classes went on, like, I got the hang of it. Some of the struggles I had was like learning how to balance high school and college at the same time. But like Rayshawn said, the professors were kind of lenient on us because they knew that we were still trying to balance high school as well. But they still had high expectations. And after this college program, I plan to go to a four-year university. I'm not sure which one yet, but I know I do want to stay in state.
Great.
I want to major in psychology and minor in communication. So,
Great.
Very good.
Thank you. So as Rayshawn alluded to a little bit, sort of where we are this semester, things have ramped up a bit this semester. Our students are taking 7 college credits. We have 2 courses. They're taking Biology 155, which also has a 2-hour lab. So just to kind of get a sense of our students' schedule this semester, on Tuesdays they leave the high school and they are at Wayne County from 12 to 4 because they have their biology lecture from 12 to 2 and then lab from 12 to 4. And then on Thursdays they have their biology lecture from 12 to 4 and then they're taking sociology from 2 to 5. So one of the things that we're really working on this semester is how to balance the increased workload and also to how to work with those longer days, because on Thursdays they do start, as they can attest to, they start at the high school at 7 in the morning and they don't get done until 5. So those are long days. We've even talked about things, like what to eat, how to make sure you're able to stay awake if maybe the professor's not so exciting. So all of those real life college experiences. I wanted to also talk a minute about how this program has had an impact on RHS as a whole, just outside of the 38 students that we have in the early college program. One of the things that we're finding is our early college students, when they're in the regular high school classes, are having conversations with other students about what it's like to be a college student. And it's really positive to hear that from other students. We tell them all the time, this is what it's going to be like in college. This is what it's going to be like when you're dealing with a professor. But they really, it hits home and they're hearing it from other students that say, I'm in a college class right now, and this is what a college professor would expect. This is what they're asking us to do. So that has been great because it's really also increased our college-going culture at the high school. I think our students that are in the program, feel pretty positive about that. They're kind of, it's sort of nice because they have their Wayne County IDs, and on those days that they get to leave the high school early, our students, see them leaving, see them going off to college courses. So that has been really positive for us at the high school. As well, it's really an affirmation to our teachers at the high school that they have prepared our students to be ready for college courses. I think Rayshawn, age is new to us this year, but can attest to they're in these college courses and they're saying, oh, I learned this already. Political science, I'm sure Rayshawn can talk about, he took AP US History. And he's sitting in political science saying, Ms. Thurko taught me all this stuff already. The same with our speech class. Some of our students took 21st century communications with Ms. Salerno. So they had many of these skills that they needed to go on and take these college courses. So that has been really great. The other thing that I just want to talk about is that our high school teachers have stepped up and offered their tutoring services as well to our college students. This semester, our students taking biology, both Mr. Niedermeyer and Ms. Laws have said, absolutely, I'll come down 4th hour. Ms. Laws has prep. I can review stuff with your students if they have questions. Last semester, Ms. Hill and Ms. Thurko came in and worked with us, before some political science exams. So that was really nice. So it's really become an integral part of the high school, and students are talking about it. I have tons of students coming up to me asking me questions about what they need to do to be in the program. So that has been extremely positive for us. And just kind of looking forward now for these students and all of our students, as I have them share with you, start to talk about what their future plans are. Because one of the big pieces of this program is making sure that they are ready after they complete the associate's degree to transfer on to that four-year university that they want to attend. So starting next month in February, each of our early college students are going to meet with the advisor at Wayne County Community College to map out those courses. Because right now they've taken classes that are going to transfer for any major in any university. But we want to make sure that as they're looking to plan courses for next year, that we do have them taking those correct courses depending on where they want to transfer to. So we're looking forward with that. We've also started to create some transfer plans with specific universities. It was really nice. The University of Michigan actually contacted us. They came to us and said, we're interested in having some of your students transfer to U of M. How can we make this as smooth as possible? So we've started to work with them and make sure that they're taking the right courses. U of M can be a little picky. So we're making sure that any student that wants to go to U of M is able to do that and to have their courses transfer. I've also talked to a few other universities, Saginaw Valley, Grand Valley, Michigan State, as they've come to the high school for regular college visits, try to get the recruiter's ear and talk to them and let them know we're going to have these students coming on as well. And of course, now we're going to start with a new group. So coming up soon, we're going to have some informational meetings. And actually, one of the parents that I invited to join us tonight is Mrs. Tiffany Hall. And she is also, she has a couple of roles with the early college program. One is that her daughter, Asia, is part of the program, but she also found out about this program because she had started doing some work for the district marketing, heard about this program, and said, I want my daughter to be in this program. So we sold her when she was trying to sell us. So I think it really worked out well. But I just wanted, Ms. Hall was going to speak for just a moment, and I will sort of pass them out to you on the marketing campaign that we just did to try to enroll some students for our next cohort. Ms. Hall helped us market to families that are outside of Romulus, and she can speak to a little bit about that.
Thank you so much. She's right. I was sold. I'm like, this is so cool. This is an awesome opportunity. And the people at Romulus, I will have to say my daughter likes it much better. She transferred from Belleville, and the teachers are so concerned. This is a very dedicated woman to the program. If anything's awry, she calls, and she's in constant communication with the parents, which makes you feel good because you kind of send your kid off with, there's adults there, how will it be? And they have the classrooms really contained, and it's going well. And my daughter's more studious, and she's really planning about college. She's looking at all different types of universities. So it's been a very exciting thing as a parent. But as a marketer, I thought, there's millions of people like me that would love their children to have this opportunity. And not only just this opportunity, but as a parent to be in a district that, even though it's still very similar to size as other districts, it's just something here that's very loving and real nurturing to students and so on. And you can feel it as soon as you walk in the building. So I want to compliment you guys on that. But I do want to get the word out. So what we focused on is looking at pockets of areas like in districts like Wayne Westland, Belleville, Taylor, that had families that would have students coming up to the 11th grade here soon. And we dropped in those areas to just get the parents' attention to kind of call out the free tuition, about this opportunity, and just so that they can come and learn about it, because you want them to just kind of peek their toe in a bit to hear about this program. You got my attention with this free tuition. What more do you have to say? What do I have to do? I'm in. And so that's kind of what we focused on, a parent that would look like me that would be interested in taking advantage of something like this for their student. And we looked at areas that I would say would be easy for a parent to drive here. I'm just right up Newburgh, so it's just nothing in the morning to get her here. And we just focused it that way. So, you know, we'll hear more about the results. The first card that we dropped for you kind of talked about early college. It talked about pre-K and so on. And you guys got a lot of calls. It was a lot of phones ringing about that, which is really cool. And it's affordable. You can do this for pennies for households and be really specific to areas and people that you're targeting and want to come to your district. And it's a competitive thing. Like, there's other school districts, charters, and it's just so competitive now that you really have to fight back and, you know, try to maintain your students here, but you got to pull from other places. And it's a real deal, and everybody's fighting, so you're not doing anything wrong, you're just protecting your turf here. And, you know, and it's good that you can do it affordably. You have Lasses as a partner. I know we've partnered on other things in the past, but any kind of intelligence I've shared with your team, anything they need to know that I can help with, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. So there were two postcards that you received. The longer postcard, this one right here, is the one that went out to our out-of-district families. And then the second smaller one is one that we sent out to our present Romulus students to just kind of know what mailings and what things went out to our families. We also have a news article. Dave Gorgon from the city of Romulus, who does news articles for many things, and also is able to get those into newspapers that are not in Romulus. He came out, spent some time with us at Wayne County Community College, wrote an article which should be coming out. In fact, he sent it out today, so it should be in the next edition of many of our local papers, just to talk about the program. He took some pictures and wrote a very nice article highlighting what our students are doing. As well as there's information on Romulus.net. I'm sure you guys have all been on there recently. As soon as you come to the homepage, there's a red banner with the information about our upcoming informational sessions. And also, if you click on that banner, the application is there, as well as a PowerPoint that I put together for parents, to answer some of their initial questions that they may have before coming to the meetings. But we do have 2 meetings coming up next week. One is February 4th, which will be at Romulus High School at 7 o'clock. And then February 6th at Wayne County Community College Western Campus at 7 o'clock.
Do you have a specific location for the?
The Wayne County, the one at the high school will be in the auditorium. The one at Wayne County Community College, I believe it's going to be right as you walk in. They have a large room right there. Yeah, that's where they're planning for us to be.
Okay, good.
But we'll have signs and things up, of course. So before we get to questions and comments, I do have another parent here as well. Rayshawn's mom, Miss Atkins, who's just going to speak for a moment on her experience as a parent.
Good evening, board. Like she said, my name is Ramona Akins, and I'm Rayshawn's mom. And when I first got the letter in the mail about the early college program, I'm like, yes. And like Ms. Hall stated, the free tuition is what caught my eye. It's like pulling teeth to get Rayshawn to get on board with it. I went to the meeting and I brought him with me. His main concern was, and probably like many of the high school students, am I going to miss out on my senior activities? Can I continue to play sports? Can I continue to be involved with my outside curricular activities? Yes, he's on the National Honor Society. He plays baseball. He's right now conditioning. And I was concerned at first, but believe it or not, his study habits have improved. I don't have to hound him. He comes in, he eats a snack, he's at the table, he got his notes. He takes notes better, he manages his time better, because he knows if the education that part don't get, then the extra gets taken away. So he's managed his time well, and I'm very proud of him because I'm not on him. And he has a younger brother who's in the 8th grade at the middle school. He's now thinking, when is my turn? At first, when we went to the meeting, I'm not doing this. I'm not staying another additional year at high school. But now he sees him doing, and then it's cool because he got the lab glasses, the lab coat for biology, and so now he's interested. So it's a very good program. I encourage any parent who's in this district or outside the district who has the opportunity to take advantage to at least come out to the meetings. I received a postcard in my youngest son's name. I'll be at that meeting just so he can hear, you know, because it was a question and comment portion at that meeting. And I was able, even questions I forgot or didn't think of, other parents had them, which enlightened me as well. So even though he's already in the program, I'll be there just to get more information. But like I said, it's a wonderful program. Study habits, the syllabus they get from the professors, he now understands. The professor's not going to be, don't forget, you have an assignment on this day. He has a list of when these assignments are due, and he know if he missed that deadline, not only are the professors going to get them, mom's going to get them too. So, but I really the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I also want to thank the board for all of your support with this program, that we're off to a great start. I want to thank Ms. Peck for her countless hours and all my questions, fielding those, and Anna for every time I need to order a book, calling and saying, how do I get this on Amazon? So I just want to thank everyone. We're off to a great start. We hope it continues. Our students are very dedicated, and it's just been wonderful. And just if you have any questions or comments for us.
Madam Chair, I got a couple questions. Actually, for the students, both of them, actually. Okay, you got the microphone. You have 7 prospective students right here that are thinking about going to this program. Give us your spiel. Why should we sign up?
Okay, so the early college program, you may think it's a disadvantage because you stay an extra year, but it's actually an advantage because you have less money, you get the experience of college life early, and then it's just a wonderful program to get used to actual hard difficulty in college work. You get the experience. It's just a better. It's a better atmosphere. College life is a better atmosphere. The professors aren't as uptight as high school teachers. You're wonderful.
Hey, I get you. I understand.
But it's just a wonderful atmosphere. I love it. It's just beautiful.
I would say it saves time and money. You would think it's more time because you have an additional year in high school, but really after the extra year, you're like way ahead of all the kids that are our age. And then like once you transfer over to a 4-year university, you already have the mindset of a college student, so it won't be as bad as you going in as an incoming freshman. So.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Was it Rayshawn? Is that correct? Hi, I'm Tamika Bowles. Nice to meet you. While you were speaking, I heard you say that you were interested in Michigan State. Okay. Has anybody taken the initiative to contact Michigan State and see if they've updated their macro agreements as of yet? And the reason why I say that is because I want you to understand that when you go to college, there is an equivalency sheet. You need to make sure that you get that documentation. And you need to make sure you take a copy of it and you keep that with you your whole 2 years that you're there, or 4 years, or wherever you want to transfer to. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I myself have been a part of transferring credits back and forth to different universities, as well as community college. And I understand that if the macro agreements are not up to date, and you take courses, even though you completed the requirements, they will not accept them at certain colleges. And according to the sheet that I have, which is a little older, it's still from the year 2013, the course-to-course equivalency sheet, Michigan State was not listed on it. So when you go online, you might want to take the initiative just to look through the website and do your own personal study of what's going on and get a copy of everything that you have. Because they have the equivalency sheets on there, and they have the documents that show you the different schools that have the information that's updated in regards to the universities that you might want to attend. And it stays in there. Make sure you read the fine print. And I'm telling you this as a student to a student. Make sure you read the fine print, because it's going to say in there, it says Michigan State University, students should follow integrative studies requirements rather than macro. Now, I just told you about the macro agreement, right? And I just showed you how that's the equivalency sheet, right? So that's completely different than what was stated. So you always make sure wherever you go, you get everything in writing, because you're gonna need that, and always keep a copy of that. That's why I always keep everything, and make sure you get it in writing, because it states on here, all universities do not accept the credits, okay? So I just want to let you know ahead of time, so you get it. I don't want you to get to a situation where you passed all the credits, you've done your homework, you've made the grades, and you deserve to have the opportunity to go to whatever university or other college or wherever you want to go, and they don't accept that they don't accept it from you. And like I said, I have it here, or some of the stuff that they have, even in regards to some of the colleges, have not been updated since 2012, 2008, 2010.
And if I can speak to that
So-
for a moment too, one of the things
Just
that's
wanna let
actually
you know that.
and that's one of the reasons that we are having our students meet with the academic advisors coming up in February. But also there is a bill in the legislature right now to do a 30 credit hour block for the entire state of Michigan, and an agreement between community colleges and our four-year institutions that would require four-year universities to accept this 30 credit block of courses, regardless of the community college the student took those courses at and the university that they're going to transfer to. So we are following that very closely. The Michigan Transfer Network is the best resource. Our students have looked at it. The academic advisor and myself have looked at it in choosing the courses that we chose for these first four classes. That's why we chose them, because they do transfer.
Just make sure that is in writing.
Yes.
And that the kids have a copy of that to take with them.
Right,
Because
and-
it's very important for you to have that. It's one thing for people to say something. It's another thing for you to have documentation that you can refer back to.
Right.
And
that-
I brought that up because I heard you say a few minutes ago in regards to saying that that they would transfer to any credit in any university, and that may be coming, but that's not
Right.
where
Well,
it is right
and-
now.
yeah, and that's
so
why-
I want them to understand it,
Absolutely.
because that's important for them
Yeah.
to understand that.
And so do we. In fact, one of the things that we did was each student just recently filled out for me to take to their academic advisor, listing the universities they want to attend as well as their majors. Because it's not just what university they want to go to, it's what major they want to go to make sure they take those right courses.
I have a couple of questions, Ms. Smekridge. If a student has an IEP for maybe just study habits or, using a computer, accommodations, that kind of thing, a student with an IEP is still eligible for this early college program, even if they have a 504, all those
Absolutely.
accepted?
And one of the things that we will do is also have them meet with the Access Services Office at Wayne County Community College, because they will also let them know what services that student receives. We do have a student this year with an IEP, and the professors are made aware at the beginning of the course what that student's accommodations are.
And not just for this thing, but general information you just put out there, and I'm
Yes.
sure you're aware of it.
Yes.
Any student with an IEP or a 504 can be accepted into a college, and colleges will give you your accommodations that are in your IEP. You just take that with you when you sign up for college. So I just don't want kids that have an IEP
Right,
think that they're not
absolutely.
college eligible.
Right.
You
absolutely.
are.
Yep, absolutely.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What are the maximum credits that the students take? Do they increase as they go through the program?
Yes.
How does that work?
So this year they took, they had the 3 high school courses and the 2 college courses. Next year that's going to go down to 2 high school courses and 3 college courses each semester. And then in year 13 it's the 1 high school course and the 4 college courses. So sort of each year high school credits go down, college credits go up.
I actually got a couple comments. I had a meeting last week with the Western Campus admin over here, the vice president, some other people, because I'm going to be instructing a class in their CE program, so I had to pitch the idea to the vice president. And the lady ratted me out after the meeting and said I was a school board member, and the early college came up. And they were quite impressed with our students. And we talked on for another half hour just on early college and how well that they received our kids over there, and they were impressed with them. And so congratulations, you guys, you make us look good.
Yeah.
And also, too, I think we'd be remiss that I know there's a few board members that really were behind this, probably years ago to get this going. And, I think Rob McLaughlin, too, he was a big part of this, so I think a big thanks to him, too. He'd probably be thrilled that you guys were up here tonight and doing well in the program.
And just to speak to that in terms of how our students are doing compared to some of the other students at Wayne County, the political science professor, he taught 3 political science courses. Only one of them were with our students. And every test we outscored the general college students. So that was always nice, you know. So they did very well.
Mrs. Funderburk had another comment.
I'm excited. I'm ecstatic about this. This is one of those moments that it's just like, okay, I made a good decision. We made opportunities for our kids, and they are just going for the gusto. And not only are they going for the gusto, but they are going by leaps and bounds, just showing out. And I'm just excited about this opportunity. And you know, I just want to encourage other families that are going to be listening to this tape later to really come out and see what the program is about. And, you know, we do all that we do to make sure that we give our kids the access that they need to opportunities to help them figure out what their futures are going to be, you know, and create those pathways and those careers and those goals and help mold and shape them. I think also, too, what I'm excited about is that we're making the grade as far as preparation for our kids. A lot of times you always hear about the horror stories and the things that aren't going well in the classrooms. And so to know that our kids are prepared and are exceeding other students that have been in that arena for maybe a couple of semesters is encouraging as well, because it lets me know that, you know, our teachers are doing a good job in preparing our kids for that post-secondary opportunity. So kudos, Ms. Mockridge, and I just wanted to say congratulations to you students. I heard that you guys did a really good job. I mean, here you go, 99% of our kids are making the grade, and those are some really good statistics, really good. So.
And you just brought up another point for me. One of the things I want to point out is, I mean, we do definitely have some NHS students in there, some top honor students, but we have some students that came into this program as high school students with 2.0s, 2.1 high school GPAs that have really excelled in this program, have really stepped up to the challenge, and we've also seen their high school grades increase at the same time as their college courses.
Wonderful.
So it's really great. It's really great to see.
Good to hear.
Does it look like, I don't know if you can project right now, that we'll have over 38 in the next program, do you think? We're getting a lot of good feedback.
Right, I'm getting, once the mailings went out, I got a lot of phone calls. And I could tell which areas had been hit, because I would always ask, what school is your student presently attending? And, you know, Belleville was calling for a few days, and then Taylor was calling for a few. And wait, you know, so I knew when things were getting dropped in what particular areas. But definitely, we're getting a lot of interest. I've had a few teachers ask me to actually come into their classrooms, because they're saying, I'm just getting all these questions, I don't know how to answer them, can you just come talk to my class, so that they know about the program.
Okay, that's good.
So it's been very positive.
Well, we want to thank you for all of your
You're welcome.
extra
It's been
time
great.
and
Thank them.
effort.
I mean, they're doing a wonderful job. So
But
they're
if
making it
wasn't for
easy.
your guidance, though, and dedication to the students.
You're welcome.
Good job.
And these
thanks.
great mailers also.
Yeah, they're
I do have to give kudos on the smaller one to David Cooper. He did the initial design on the smaller mailing, so he did a great job for us.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you.
Good luck,
Thank
folks.
you to the parents as well for, you
Yes.
know.
We're proud. We're
I can
very
tell the parents are
proud.
proud. You can see their smiles.
We are so proud of them.
Okay, next year we expect you back here, okay? Wrapping it all up. Thank you.
Margie, can you move your mic over to you? Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. You'll get a card out the back door.
The next item on the agenda is a reinstatement of student 2001-2223. We need
Thank you.
board motion.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Education accept the recommendation of the School Reinstatement Committee to reinstate student 2001-2223 to Romulus Community High School only.
Support.
Motion made by Mrs. Funderburk, supported by Mr. Kudrick. Any discussion? Okay.
Discussion.
Yes.
After reviewing this person's record, I just wanted to make a statement that I know that, looking at what I saw, it looks like a lot of behavior issues that were there. And I just want to make it known that my first priority is the safety of the students. And I just didn't feel that, based upon looking at how it's been suspended a couple times, destroying the Romulus property, I felt like this could be someone that could be a danger to Romulus students as well as staff. So I just wanted to make that known.
All right, thank you.
And this student's going to community high, correct?
Going to community.
Not Romulus High?
Right.
Yeah, the motion says Romulus Community.
It is
I
Romulus
just double checking.
And it also says that the person must maintain passing grades and no violations of the code of conduct. So,
Correct. He's got it straight.
right, so he's aware that it's a lot of requirements.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mrs. Funderburg, supported by Mr. Kudrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 6-1.
The next one is a reinstatement of student 20015861.
Madam Chair? I
Yes,
move-
Mr. Crowe.
Move the Board of Education accept the recommendation of the Student Reinstatement Committee to deny reinstatement of student 20015861 to Romulus Community Schools.
Support. Motion made by Mr. Kudrick, supported by Mrs. Funderburg. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Then we need a motion for school of choice for our June window and also our August window.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Kudrick.
Recommend the motion to move the Board of Education continue the School of Choice program and declare all schools grade K through 12 as limited schools of choice under Section 105 of the School Code. Enrollment will be limited to 10 slots per grades, kindergarten through 8th, 40 slots per grade, 9th, and 20 slots per grade, 10th through 12th.
Support. Question? This motion made by Mr. Kudrick, supported by Mrs. Funderburg. Mrs. Funderburg?
Madam Chair, I just had a question for, I guess would it be Ms. Peck? The numbers here, are those to accommodate the change that we had made for the early college program? Okay, I just was double checking, because I know that we had okayed a certain amount of kids, and I was just making sure that that
Right.
was included in this number.
Right, and our marketing push will be very strong on ninth graders. We'll be attempting to encourage our school of choice students to enter our program at ninth grade so that we can adequately prepare them through our high school system so that they're ready for that junior year. The tough times ahead, tough fun times ahead.
Good.
But this could also fall under for any kid that wants to come in.
Absolutely.
And another question, this is silly, since we've got the Inkster kids with us now, they're considered actually probably one of ours, so they wouldn't actually fall under school and choice, so these slots could be opened up to another district.
That's correct.
kids. Okay, so if we did have 15 that came under school of choice, they would now just be put into ours,
They're
those
regular
15
resident
slots
students.
open up?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. Now, unless they're an Inkster student that's outside of our
boundary,
boundary.
correct. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Kudrick and seconded by Mrs. Funderburg. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Then I have several items of interest on here. Burton Center update. We did send a rejection for the counter proposal, and they requested a walk through the building. And I didn't hear back. Did they ever come back with you?
They scheduled it for last week, and then they rescheduled it for today. I'm not sure if that walkthrough actually occurred with the weather conditions.
And then the realtor with the reassessment value of that property was going to come back with a value, and we haven't heard yet.
No, I heard from them.
Oh, did you?
Yep, I can
Ms.
update the
Peck,
board.
update the board on that.
So I talked to the real estate agent at length about the assessment that he came back with, because he came back with the same amount that he had assessed it at before, $450,000.
This was with the breaks.
Correct. Correct. So, and that's what I brought to his attention. I said, well, you know, before it was $450,000 without these building issues that we've experienced. How can it be the same now? And he explained to me that there's a big difference between commercial real estate values and private or like my personal house real estate
residential.
values. Yeah. So he looked at comps in the area. It depends on what the property is going to be used for. Ultimately, how much you'll end up getting for the property. And he really still feels that $450,000 is a reasonable value for that property, even with the condition of the building.
So basically, he's pricing the property, not the building on it.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah. So what will happen if a bid comes in, another bid comes in, and you know, we come to some type of an agreement, in that contract, there'll be some language that says, okay, this is all pending a walkthrough of the property. So they might go in and say, we want to actually use this building as is. We'd like to see this much off of this bid, if you will. Or they might say, you know, we're not planning on using this property as is, this building as is, we're gonna take the building down. So we're gonna leave the value at $450,000 and move forward from there.
Do we have the contract for the property stated as is at this point right now, or no?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, it's listed as is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Madam Chair, I have one other question. I know the significance of the Burton Center in the community of Romulus. As a board, could we begin to maybe have a discussion on maybe putting legacy on a different building? Or, because I know that particular building, if it is assumed by a different owner, I don't know that they would, you know, cherish the legacy that's on that particular property. Especially if they are taking into consideration that they may demolish the building. Maybe if we could possibly have a discussion and maybe involve some people over in the Beverly area that kind of spearheaded that the building change to the Burton Center, so that we can maybe talk about, I don't know, something, maybe to rededicate something instead, so that we still kind of, you know, have that legacy going on in the community.
Especially since they give so many scholarships and
They
stuff.
do.
They support
Yeah.
our community.
And I think we had the discussion before of maybe dedicating another building, but not only in that area, you got the Romulus area here. I mean, I think it's the whole Romulus as a whole that wanted that building dedicated in her name. So I think we need to probably include
Family members.
we have family members and other Romulus residents, not just on that side of town in the sub, but actually it's all of Romulus. I think we probably need to get some input.
That was brought up the first time it went on the budget for possible sale. That was one of the things that was brought up very first thing, but we just never got to that. We've not got as far as we are now, so now it's coming to be a reality.
She still has, they have
It's-
family
yeah,
members that
and they
live in
do, like
Romulus
Sandy
still.
said, they do give scholarships, and they do, and, you know, legacy here, but yeah, there definitely needs to have respect for them.
Then the Inkster High School update. We know that Mr. Geis was here last board meeting giving us sell it for $1 or whatever. People jumped on that, so we had a lot of calls and fielding questions about, will you sell it to me, will you sell it to me? And it's like, whoa. So Rebecca and I met with Wayne Risa, and we don't want it to cost us anything, and we don't want to pay any more for it. So they said that they would handle either when it went to demolishing it, or if it went up for sale, that they would handle all of that. And we said, good.
But in the meantime, who's paying the any utilities?
Yeah, we're still handling that.
Right, we're handling that.
I think what they were trying to reassure us with the Wayne Risa is that once we get to that point where the board can make a decision as to what the state of that property is going to be in, they're going to be there to support us in those efforts, whether it's selling the property or, you know, demolishing that property.
You know, I understand that the community in that area, they do have a lot of, you know, history with the building, and they were wanting to do something, and we talked briefly about offering it to the city, That's where I would say to offer to them only on it. If they want it, then they can have it and do what they want with it, and we're out of it there. I don't think RISA doesn't need to get involved now. If they flatly refuse it, then yeah, let RISA handle the demolition, because I know there's some Taylor buildings that are that's the only thing they can do with them is demolish them, so they're
There's
gonna
only
try
one
to,
building that was.
they're gonna try to incorporate all them buildings at one time, and get the best bid, which is smart, but if the city wants it, that's the only one I would say let it go for $1.
But there's 3 groups in that city. There's that transitional team that came here and spoke before us several times. And then there's the general manager, city manager group. And then there's the mayor group. So if we're gonna give it back to the city, which group do we?
The city council group.
Yeah.
And that
would
was.
be the mayor.
I received a phone call in regards to the property, and the first response was, "You're selling us the building for $1?" And it's like, oh, no, that's not what transpired. But ultimately, one of the things that I did share was that we want to make sure that, because, for instance, there are there's like trophies and a lot of alumni memorabilia in the building, and who does that, who does that go to? And so you've got the Alumni Association, you've got the transition teams, and you've got all these different entities now vying for what's inside the building, not even just the building itself.
Right.
And so one of the things that I did say was, well, I think that you all should sit down collectively as Inkster and decide what that's going to look like first, because we don't want to be caught in the middle of a family feud. So
And that's what it looks like it's
yeah.
going to become, and it's
Right.
like, if we could at least leave Wayne Risa in there instead
As
of
a negotiator.
Romulus
Yeah.
being
Oh, I
in
can
the
understand
family
your point
feud.
there,
Good
yeah.
idea.
You
That
know,
makes sense there.
and also, they said that they would take, at the Michigan Library in Lansing, any items that they wanted to store would end up going up to.
Okay.
So they won't be,
I do have a
damaged,
question too,
destroyed.
because I was wondering about that in regards to like, their computers and material. Is that our property as well too? And do we have the right to decide what to keep, or if we would like to sell some of it as a discount? I don't know, like, I know some families may not have computers, and these computers can be refurbished and then maybe, sold off to certain
We can't sell
families.
anything because we won't make a profit if we sell anything, because it's
What's
gotta
the
go
debt?
back to their bond and their net. But what happened is, Wayne Risa was in there and they divided everything. We've been receiving computers, the high school received some, I know Rommel has a computer card, Barth received some, other schools across have received technology, we've got some smart boards that have been delivered. So Wayne Risa has separated the items to the best of their ability. And then when they're finished, and they said they'd be finished by mid-February, late February, with dispersing all of that to the 4 schools,
'Cause that's
then whatever's left in there becomes, if we would like it, it's ours.
Because I thought, I maybe I misunderstood. I thought I knew we couldn't sell the property, because if we sold the property, then all of the money would go to
The debt.
Inkster, the debt. But I didn't know that that included, like, all of the computers and,
Anything-
monitors and,
anything that was
anything
bought from funds
like
from
that.
would go back to it.
But we can take the monitors and use them in our district.
Okay.
If we didn't sell them, so that's
That's
a
a
plus.
plus,
Yeah.
right.
And which we did. We
And
had-
that has
we've had-
happened.
yeah.
Wayne Risa took charge of the property
Right.
when it was first dissolved.
Okay.
And they did their inventory, and then all of the districts that those students got dispersed to, those districts were allowed to bid on those items they did
Okay.
from that inventory. And then, I guess that's what we're waiting for, is that stuff to all be dispersed to where it needs to go.
And we received a couple of vehicles from it too.
Now I have to speak as a guy. What about, like, I know Coach Patterson talked about the football equipment, because they had the same colors as us, I believe, the maroon and white.
We did
So-
get some.
We did.
We did get some.
in this
'Cause
last round.
I know our football helmets, we were talking about, we needed some new football helmets, and we got an influx of students
Yep.
on the football team.
There was a large conflict when they did the first inventory. You know, everybody submitted their lists of what they wanted from the inventory. There were a lot of conflicts, and a lot of them was around the sporting equipment and the musical equipment, and of course the
That's
buses.
expensive stuff, too.
It
That's
is,
why, yeah.
and we got a lot of it in that final round where we
Good.
went through and round robin. They did find they found a large room full of brand-new baseball, is it baseball uniforms? Yeah, they're giving them all to us. I mean, they're all our colors. So, yeah, we're pretty excited.
Make that
Think I, we can make the I a R.
right.
That's right.
And it's maroon and white.
Stitch it
Right. And we
You got
did
a baseball
receive
player out
we
there.
did receive the 2 buses from the bus lot from Inkster, and they're here. We're fixing them. One of them has a lot of work to be done. The other one is going to be road ready very soon.
That's great.
And we got a box car.
So what about you said that we receive instruments as well too? Okay.
Those haven't come yet. Those are just, we know that they've been allocated to us. We kind of won them in the bid process. The only thing that we've received physically is we did our step 1 deployment of the brand-new technologies that was sent to the districts. And in that deployment, we probably received over 300 computers, laptops, iPads, and all of those have been deployed and are being used in our schools right now for our students. Then we've received the 2 buses and the box truck.
Smart boards, too.
And we've received, yes, we've received 8 of the 15 smart boards that were allocated to us. And we're working on a plan to get those into the classrooms as well.
Great.
Possibly do, like I don't know, something to, one, inform the public, but one, so that we could have what was the outcome of that inventory list, but then 2, something maybe published either on a website or something like that of what we actually received. One, so that the families in Inkster know that the stuff is not rotten in the buildings and that it is being put to use. But then
Their
also
kids
too,
too,
yeah, but then also too, to let our Romulus families know that, you know, with the students from Inkster also came, you
Equipment.
know, some equipment and, you know, the
It's improving
residuals.
our whole instructional community.
Right.
The word I'm looking for right now it's escaped me. Resources. I was thinking more or less how when you're a marriage, you get the betrothed when you have your with the dowry. Yes, it came with a dowry. So
I know the band director would probably be happy with that because I went to visit the middle school.
yeah,
And I went to the band. I was asking them. I saw that looked like there was a lack of instruments. And I was talking to him, and we were trying to come up with different ideas of how we could come up and try to get some new instruments in there because he was saying a lot of our students are paying different companies and I was saying, wow, if we could find out a way of getting some instruments, and then they wouldn't have to come out of pocket for that. So hopefully I know he'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. And we got quite a few instruments.
yeah, both the high school and the middle school.
We also have 6 pallets in the back that have art supplies and things like
Wow.
that. So we're looking for volunteers, or we're going to get a crew of volunteers to start separating that so we know where to send it.
Did they have a theater in there, like a performing arts?
I think they did.
They had
have
a
stage.
beautiful auditorium.
Did that get divvied up yet? Because I think our sound system, like the wireless mics on our stage weren't working correctly, and
Right.
some of the lights.
We did bid for some of those items. We
Good.
got what we could out of there, knowing that we had some issues with our sound system. We
Yeah.
tried to get as much as we could, get some spotlights.
Even
things
just
like
the
that.
props, some of the props.
Curtains.
and-
You know,
and
those
props
weren't,
and-
the curtains weren't on, we asked, because they were gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
That's,
auditorium.
it's a beautiful auditorium. That was part of the structure of the building. They wouldn't allow us to bid on those. But the props, it's interesting that you say that, because it wasn't on any any of the lists, but Inkster High School, as Mrs. McAnally indicated, once Reese is done with everything at Inkster,
If nobody puts in
if
for
nobody
it.
puts in for it, we can take what we want. It's nothing structural, obviously, but
Don't say it too loud.
don't say anything. It never made it onto an inventory list, though, so it will never be, it's
If
not
I
going
didn't
to be
think about it.
deployed.
Go on a hunting expedition.
That building is secure, right?
Yes,
Okay.
where it's alarmed, and it's monitored by our maintenance staff.
Okay.
They do walkthroughs twice a week.
That's probably important, like Danielle said, get the public to know what's coming out because that could lend to curiosity of people thinking what's in the building to go in there and get.
Right.
But it also eases the mind of taxpayers knowing that some of that material's coming here, not just the students. So as a taxpayer, I mean, a lot of us are, is that we realized that there wasn't just the students, we're also getting the equipment to help with the students. So the former Romulus students aren't, everybody sharing one computer. There is equipment coming over, and that could probably help with the, the overall view
transition.
of how it's coming in there, that it's not just here, the state did this, and this is what else we're getting to.
And as a guesstimate, even for those smart boards, you're talking $10,000.
Right. That's what I mean. If we could put something like that on there, that I think what Ms. Funderburg said, I think that would be great, because I think it could definitely, a lot of people in the community, there's taxpayers that don't come to our meeting, may watch it, and if they know that we're getting X amount of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, that could ease maybe some of the grumbling.
How many smart boards did we get?
We had 15 smart boards, and these they were in use at the
10,000
high
apiece?
school, but these were like state-of-the-art, just the best that money
So
can
roughly
buy.
about $150,000 worth of smart boards we're getting. And
Oh, easily.
That's probably a
So,
low ballpark,
yeah.
but yeah.
Well, you have to remember too that Inkster High School, Inkster, the district was a large recipient of the SIG money as well.
But I mean,
Like we were.
if you tell the community you're getting $150,000 that we're not spending, I mean, when you start talking dollar
That's
amounts.
just so they
The
made
start
some-
of it, so that's
Yeah.
great.
So they
And
made
that
some
our
good
students get
margin.
to use. And
Right.
And if you can't even find a home for the trophies, if they have championship trophies, it may be something we want to consider in our trophy case, because we may have family members of students that come now that played on those teams, so they would still have that pride, at least seeing those trophies in our building too.
That's a good point.
The only thing is, we didn't get all of Inkster,
Right, just,
Right.
And if it would have been all of Inkster, then yeah, bring it on over, because you've become a part of us, but
Right.
we're 1/4.
We'll have to work through that part of it. So.
does their city have any kind of like historical museum like we do? Anything at their city hall that maybe they
Not
would want to keep
currently.
the trophies as an honor to their residents that went through that school?
They were working on something,
I don't
and I
think
think
they
that
have
was
yet.
part of those discussions with the mayor and the city manager and the alumni association, but nothing had been confirmed yet, so everything kind of got put on hold. Okay, that's it.
Then the last item is Black History Month 2014 with the Soul Food Dinner at Romulus High School. Is coming up February 12th. And they're looking for people to serve.
Calendars.
I'll be there.
Let me see.
Madam Chair, I just let you know, I mean, if you want, or Superintendent, I know the Romulus Rotary has brought this up at their meetings that they have on Wednesday nights, and they are actually, brought it up at the board meeting that they had, is the members come on over and help them to serve, so if we can get that information, Reverend Kren was one of the contacts on that, and I think you're supposed to be talking to
I
Reverend
believe-
Willis, and
I believe the contact person is Mrs. Bonham at the middle school. I'm
Right.
not sure, I received an email,
I got one
believe-
too, but I know the Romulus Rotary, they were talking to the members on it with us and about going there serving if they need, so we can pass that on to them too. And-
That would be who that they would contact,
Right.
would be Mrs. Bonham.
So do we need to respond individually if we're going, or?
I think so, to
Okay.
Mrs. Bonham, let her know, send her a reply email if you're gonna be there to serve, so
That's
she'll
the-
know who
Okay.
she has on hand, because the city officials also come and serve.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good event.
Already.
And that ends my portion.
Thank you, Mrs. McNally. Our next item on our agenda is superintendent search, and we have Marie Miller with us here from MASB. And tonight, I think we're going to be discussing our criteria for the search and our timeline.
Is this on?
Yep.
Good. Good evening. Thank you. I'm pleased to see the college, or the early college program in full swing, because when I met with you a few short months ago, it was still on the drawing board and still some discussion, so still in the planning stages. So it has grown by leaps and bounds, and I think it's another item of pride that Romulus can speak to. This evening, we are back at looking for a permanent superintendent. I'm pleased that you have an interim in place, which takes some of the heat off in terms of what you're going to do. I'm going to, for the case of the audience and just our new board member, to go through basically the process and then talk about, because this time it may be a little bit different. We conducted the search less than a year ago. And in that process, you'll know that the first process was having the community meetings, and we had several of those, although they were not well attended, but we did have the meetings. We also did an online survey to get the input as to what people were looking for in terms of the criteria for superintendent. And then the board members took their individual and we got a composite from that, and I believe the composite was sent back to the board members.
I sent it to
Okay.
everybody this week, yeah.
The one that we finished with, so that kind of gave you what the current criteria was when you were looking, about six months ago. From there, we then post. We would go through and screen those applications, again in a public meeting. And go through that process. Then first interviews, which are very formal, scripted, and in each case along the way, the public has the opportunity to participate by asking, submitting questions during the interviews. But again, that first interview is very scripted. And then a second interview, and if it's necessary, because sometimes, I think the last time you were very close to making a decision without doing a second interview. So that's a possibility also. So that's the overall process. Any questions in terms of process-wise, anything you may have forgotten or need more detailed explanation?
Was everybody satisfied still with the same criteria that we
And
did from last time?
well, I didn't set a, usually I will send you kind of a, hey, this is kind of my estimate for a timeline. I didn't send that because wasn't sure exactly where you wanted to go. Couple of things you can, think about as a board. If you're satisfied that the criteria that you chose before is still what you're looking for in a superintendent, and that you believe that that's what the community still wants, then I'd suggest that you can, we can overlook that, and not do setting that criteria, just reviewing that at the next meeting and saying, yes, this is what we still want. My recommendation would be to still have a community meeting, community and staff meeting, one meeting at least, so that I can go basically over the process and get the input again, so that, you don't overlook it completely. But the reality is, things probably haven't changed much in 6 months in Romulus, that there's any, you were looking for someone who was strong in finance. I think you still need someone, who has a strong concept of finance, curriculum, federal programs. I think those things are still strong needs in Romulus, as they are in all districts. I will tell you that right now there are about 10 searches going on in Michigan, okay, that we know of right now that are being conducted either by MASB, MLI, districts by themselves.
How many in Wayne County?
I believe this is the only one in Wayne County right now, although I take that back. Wyandotte is in the process. I don't know that they've begun. They're going to do their own.
Southgate.
Southgate is in the process, so that, I don't know where they're at, but there will be. We anticipate, it's kind of been a lull in superintendent searches for the last few years, but we're seeing that pick up. So you're at a good point in terms of early in the year, and you have some time to go through that. So that would be my question, is in terms of, where do you want to head into, if you're still pretty much satisfied, or you think you're satisfied with the criteria, or discussing that, or do you want to go back and do an online survey again?
I guess this is where I need to find out from the board, how does the board feel?
I wouldn't mind doing another survey.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Pardon?
I wouldn't mind doing another survey.
Okay.
Just to, personally, I mean, because I feel like there's some things that have kind of transpired as well, even though it's been a 6-month span, I think it just looks a little different.
There's a lot that's changed in the
Yeah.
last
Right,
6
all of the
months.
Inkster parents might have a different view, and we need to know, their feelings too.
Yeah, there is different,
The
more
last
different
6
parent
months-
base.
You stop and think, in the last 6 months, I mean, you have the dissolvement of Inkster, you've got the influx of large students, you got the debt elimination plan, you got staff administration that's left and stuff, so there's a lot of things that have changed. There was no stability, so a lot of it is definitely,
And hopefully this time, there will be more input into the survey, because you'll remember last time, even though the survey was up for a while.
Was it 10 responses?
I believe it was 10 responses, and it was up for a while, so there wasn't a lot of input in. So that'll be, but I can arrange that.
Okay.
And that, again, will be, the survey will be provided by MASB. It will be housed on your website. So basically, people will go to the Romulus website. The information will go actually back to MASB, and then I'll get that report. So it'll take your technology folks to get it up on the website, depending on how quickly they can do that.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask, how soon would that be accessible to us? Because I know we have a parent-teacher conference coming up, is it Thursday?
well, we'd have to ask one of them that's in the back room there, maybe he could answer that question for us.
Okay, I don't, there's two questions. I don't know how long it'll take MASB to get it ready at their end. Okay, because I haven't talked with them in terms of that, but I would think that would be probably maybe 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
And then it depends on how long. Last time, it took us a while to get it up on the website in Romulus. That was the issue. So that probably is the more critical. And I can push Donna at MASB and Kelly to get that up as quickly as possible. So they might be able to do that in 2 days, have it ready for you in 2 days. At your end here, can you get it up?
And then we need to communicate to the public that this online survey is out there.
Well, they might be able to get it up a little quicker, knowing now what they had to do last time.
Because we have less resources now. At the time that we did the search with you last time, we had the Romulus little paper.
Mhm.
We no longer have that.
Okay.
It's no longer in print. It's only on an online basis now. So
Okay.
the only newspaper that we have to our advantage to use is the Telegram and the News Herald. And the
Facebook,
Eagle.
we got a couple people in here that are pretty good on Facebook.
And the Romulus Eagle. And as far as actual printed newspapers, those are the only newspapers that we have to our access right now.
Can we
that
not
are
put it
local.
on the cable channel? I mean,
We
Oh,
could-
the
That-
the
that there is a
notification,
survey?
Yeah, the notification.
Yeah.
can be put on- Yeah.
We could get it on the cable.
So I will work tomorrow at MASB's end to get the survey up and ready, and then I'll see who the contact is, and then they'll basically take it from there. So we'll, because that survey will basically be the same survey, because they're standard questions that are on the survey. It'll be interesting to do the comparison to the result, because I still have the results from the first one, so even though they weren't significant. But we'll see, where those results are. So to that end, I'm going to go pull my paper calendar, since
Rebecca, who was our person that got it up on the website before?
I'm assuming it was our webmaster, and I'm not quite sure what the problem was with getting it posted, but I will email him tonight and let him know that this survey will be coming.
Okay.
And it will be in the same format before.
Was that Mr. Cooper?
Mhm.
Yeah, it might have had some tricks he had to do to it, knowing that
Right.
now he's probably remembered how to do it last time. It could be a lot faster,
Yeah.
too.
Do you know what platform they use for their survey? Like, is it SurveyMonkey?
I believe it's SurveyMonkey,
Okay.
but it's basically all you're putting at this site is
Just
the
a
link.
A link to the.
And everything,
yeah.
it goes to, actually goes to MASB's survey, so, or site, so.
I don't think our website was actually working that well at that time, and now it's,
Computer problem, didn't we? Didn't we have the computer problem that they were tracking down or something?
yeah.
Yeah, over
We
the,
did, we've changed our platform, and now we don't have those
So it
issues
shouldn't be
anymore.
that hard to get
Right.
the link on
But I'll
the
let him know
website.
that it's coming.
And I should have, okay, then Rebecca, I'll talk with you tomorrow once I talk to, ooh, no.
We'll just need to get the link
It
or
just
the
timed out.
notification on our school cable channel to the,
Yep. Do you want a robocall?
that would be a good idea to do
Yeah.
the roll call.
got it, might as well use it. They listen to it when there's no school.
Yeah.
Okay, then, again, my suggestion is that we do at least one, board members do not need to attend the meeting, so you're welcome always, at the meeting, but it's basically, my recommendation would be one community and staff at the same time, just to do one meeting. We had, I think I did 11 meetings last time and had like 4 people over the 11 meetings. So having multiple meetings,
Didn't pan out.
right, I think what the important piece will be is setting enough time, because we did them quick last time. So my recommendation would be that we set a community meeting, or set a meeting, informational meeting regarding the superintendent search sometime the week of, and hopefully weather will cooperate, February 10th, because that will give the district enough time to get the information out that the meeting is.
That's a Monday, isn't it?
No. February
Yes, it is.
3rd is next Monday?
No,
The
that's
10th is
February
a Monday.
10th, that would be our board meeting night.
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be on the 10th.
Okay.
I'm saying that
The
week.
week, okay.
Well,
That's when the
just
information will be
just a
out.
suggestion is, we've got the soul food dinner and that,
That'd be
the
nice.
program, maybe have it, we could possibly get the community information on that 12th, there'll be a lot of community members there. That's an opportunity to
We could
get
have a
people for.
laptop set up in there or
Well,
something to
even
do
if
the
they know
survey.
that they gotta go on, having the information, here's the survey, please go on it by this deadline, give them the information versus a lot of
you're
us.
saying
You just pass out something that says.
Right,
yeah.
have something where they can go on, tell them how to get to the website and what they gotta do if they wanna put their comments on it.
Yeah, but this community meeting is separate than the online survey.
Correct. It's basically,
So-
it would be a meeting, and probably I would anticipate, unless there's a lot of questions from the community, it's only about a half hour. But it's basically to go over the process of the search process. And if you wanted to do it prior to that, or you wanted to do it at the same time, I don't want to intrude on the dinner.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
intrude on
That'd
it,
be
I'm
nice
saying
if
if they have it after,
Needs to be there. You
Announce it
cannot-
I'm saying after the dinner, have it,
Yeah,
that way
do it.
people will know what's going on.
It was
So
just
maybe
more,
do-
they were just talking about
So
it
do
now.
like
Like the
a
13th?
the 13th, right, the 13th
Oh,
to the 14th.
yeah, that's fine.
That way there's more people there that can get the information if they're interested.
That
What,
Thursday.
yeah, what are we looking at the community meeting, I guess?
I would say more so
On
a
the
Thursday
13th.
than a Friday, because
Well,
Friday
the
people
13th
have
would be
things
a
to do.
Thursday.
Right.
I don't know if I would agree with only having one meeting, because everybody work different schedules, so I would think you would need at least 2.
We did, how many
11.
meetings?
11.
We did 11 meetings, and there was maybe 2 people at each meeting.
But we don't
No,
know
we
if
didn't-
the
I didn't have
reason
that
why
many.
is because of them not actually getting the word until afterwards. There's a lot of other factors that could have taken place in regards to that. I just want to make sure that the community has every opportunity to come out, so they can't say they didn't know.
Well,
And that's just how I personally feel. I just would like them to have the opportunity to be there.
Could we
in
possibly
more than one
do
meeting.
2 that same day, one in the earlier day and one in the evening? Is
That would be
possible?
better.
I mean, at least have it on the same day.
Oh, I'm willing
You
to,
know,
Because, I mean, she brought up a valid
Right.
point, because you got people that work afternoons, but have it in the on the 13th, let's say the 13th a day, have it in the morning, and then have one in the evening, so it's one day.
Yeah, just one day, 2 different times.
Right.
What if we
Whatever you
did it the
prefer.
week after the soul food dinner, which would be like the 20th?
Honestly, if you want community involvement, I think if you tell them it's going to be the 13th, it's going to be fresh in their mind. That's just my opinion, but, I mean, I'll go either way, but you got a captive audience.
And did we send something home with the kids last time?
No. I think we talked about it.
Because
we
we
send
would have
something
enough
last time?
time, this time, to send something out in
Yeah,
advance.
that would be
so
nice.
It would be like a reminder at the program.
We did
We
that.
did do it
I
in the
believe,
newsletters.
We did do that.
last
They
time
put-
the
they put
buildings
it in
put the
newsletters.
information out.
Because
In
we
their
had enough time.
I don't
to
know
do that.
how, but that they
It's
said
in their
that they'd sent
newsletter.
the information.
It was in the newsletters.
We did that.
And also too, maybe on February 3rd or 10th, or both, maybe we should contact Pro Tem Barden on the city council and have them announce it. If we don't have a representative there ourselves, maybe on the 3rd. But have them announce on the city council, because that's a well-watched program, their meetings. So if we had Pro Tem Barden, Mayor Pro Tem, announce it during his announcements.
City county, city council meeting?
Yeah, yeah, because they're pretty well watched too by the public.
Okay, just for, my clarification, then the meeting, whatever date we choose. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 things at that meeting. I will review the search process with whoever is there, and then also give those people who are there an opportunity to answer a few questions in terms of, what they're looking for in terms of, or what they would expect from the superintendent, kind of their concerns. So same process as last time, same 4 questions that I'd work with them. Those questions are also on the online survey, so people will have the opportunity to participate in one way or the other. So,
What about also, I know you said you put them in the weekly, is it the weekly newsletters you said you sent home to the parents? But that weekly newsletter has multiple things on it, right? Okay, I think it would probably be better if you did only send that home on something separate by itself. Just like you do, like when you have half days at school, at elementary, the secretaries send a day early to let the parents know, to remind them, that not to have school. Because if not, you have like 20 million kids show up and there's no school. So obviously, if they get that and that works, this will work too, if it's one single thing that they're focused on, rather than depending on them to read through the whole weekly newsletter and find it there. So I think that will work better.
Also, I have a question. Did we do robocall last time? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I know we had it out on the web.
I don't
I know
remember.
we
I don't
had
think
it
so.
on the-
That was
I
a good
thought
idea.
Rob,
I don't
thought
think
Rob did a robocall
I thought he
message.
did. That's what I was.
he did for one of the meetings. I think there were 2 community meetings. I don't know
Yeah,
if
now
by
that
the
you think
first
about it,
time, but
yeah.
I believe we had a board meeting or something in between. And then he said he personally did a
Did a robocall.
robocall.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For the-
Okay.
So do
Okay.
you want a robocall for the informational meeting?
Yeah.
Just to notify, yeah.
Now, who's going to get in touch with Mayor Pro Tem Barton?
Let the superintendent do that.
You going to get a hold of John? If you don't, I can. It doesn't matter.
Any of us can, I think we all got his phone number.
And that would be great for Romulus, but I'm concerned with the Inkster families getting the news to them. That's why if something goes home with the kids, at least.
Well, they're gonna be
they'll-
included on the robocall too.
Right.
And this way, it only, instead of getting the whole city of Inkster, it's gonna get the ones that are in our district.
students, Yep.
So we're not contacting half the students that go to Taylor and they go there, where's the meeting? You know, that could cause some problems.
You're right.
So right now, we have set up one community meeting on 2/13. Should we schedule another one, or do you want to do one in the morning and one in the evening on the 13th?
I want to do whatever the board's pleasure.
I say if you do one in the morning, one
We should
evening, at
do
least we give the
Same day,
opportunity.
2 different times.
Okay.
Okay, so
Give
on
it-
the 13th.
Same day, 2 times.
What times?
I'd say, what, 10 o'clock and then 6 o'clock, right? 10 or 6:30, something like that.
Most people,
Here you go. I guess I would refer to Ms. McAnally, when you would have, from your experience of you know, being principal over at Romulus Elementary, when you would do daytime activities, what do you feel like was your peak hours in the daytime?
You know, we got a lot of parents at 9:30 in the morning when they brought their children.
After they dropped
Stay
them off.
right up, you know.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. They don't have to go home and come back.
Okay. And then evening, what do you think would be a good time?
Evening was a rough one, I mean, because
6:30?
once
Yeah.
they went.
You don't want it too late. I'll say 6:30 probably.
6
6:30,
o'clock.
yeah.
Do a 9:30 and a 6 PM.
Okay, and that's for staff and for community members also, correct?
Right.
Okay, so
Well,
just
actually, the morning one
wouldn't be,
would be
wouldn't staff.
yeah.
Well, it could be staff. It could be some staff members attend.
Well, staff, you could do it and open it, could it be staff and community here at the board office? You could do that one like at, was it 3:30, 4?
So now
Is
you
that
have
when the
like
last
3?
last of them leave? The end of the day?
They vary. It just varies across the
If
buildings.
they have like after-school PD and that kind of thing, is it usually like at 3:30 though?
No, at 2, the high school.
Oh, because we
I
have
think they have
split, we
various.
have split dismissals.
Do we got any parent-teacher conferences coming up?
January
Thursday.
30.
Can we, wish we had shirts we could wear. Like, come to the meeting.
That's for at the high school, it's on the 30th, right? That's not the, elementaries aren't on the 30th, right?
Can we pass out flyers?
Can we have something ready
There
for
for the kid, for the
the
parents?
parent-teacher conference?
Well, if we get the date settled, then they can hand something out
Yeah,
with
that's
the
what I'm
report
thinking. Can we
cards.
do that?
That's what we're trying to do, is get the times and the dates now, so we
Right.
can do that.
I say, yeah, so we said 9:30 and then 6, right?
Right, and then we
Right.
still have to do a staff meeting unless you have the staff come to the 6 PM meeting.
I'd say to make it the staff, and we're making it convenient for everybody, we'll just make it, I mean, just do the 2 meetings and the staff can come,
Yep.
okay? I mean, unfortunately, we can't accommodate to 100% of the city. Okay, we're on a time crunch, and we've cut it down from 11 meetings to 2 meetings. We got the morning crew, and we got the afternoon crew. People, workers out there, so.
This still accommodates some staff too, the morning, because you've got, you know,
People
your
who work
cafeteria
afternoons.
staff that are done with the
And then,
morning.
and then
they
let's
come.
not forget, if the staff wants to involve, they can go on the line, do the survey too.
And
Okay.
I'm more than willing, if the calls come in, and again, we'll talk about fielding calls to me as your consultant so that nobody in the district is handling those. You know, basically, you just give them my phone number and I will, take those calls. But if they're, if people want to meet with me for some reason or they want to speak on the phone, that's part of what, I do along the way also. So, should there be a
So on the
concern.
notifications, we'll just list you
As the contact? Yes, what I will do is I will forward the actual wording that comes that, it's the same wording as before. But basically that says I'll be conducting the meeting and what that,
That's in that
notification
search
should.
book.
It is, if you still
Yes,
have the search.
I have it.
Okay, then you still have the pages. We can talk after the meeting and we'll
Right.
talk about what pages it is. So it's basically the same process, but it does, and it also gives the opportunity for anybody to send things right directly to MASB. Okay, so the 13th, 9:30 and 6 p.m., community informational, community staff.
And where will it be at, the high
Where's the
school?
location?
The location?
That's
Be at
up
the
to,
high school?
up to you.
Oh,
Where did we have 'em
Did I
before?
hear
We had
one
'em in
here?
Day, it would be, have to be here, probably,
I'm thinking,
because you got kids.
The last
during
time
the
we
day.
had them at, I believe, an elementary building, the middle school, the high school, the library, this building.
yeah, you did like 6 meetings.
Yeah, and I believe it may have been like, and it was like 2 different times in each building or something, so. The meetings were better attended here. And
Then why don't we make them 9:30 and 6 PM here at the board office? Will that work?
Because it's not big enough, we don't know what we're gonna get you, especially if we taking different avenues and doing
We're
a soul
going
food
to the
dinner.
soul food dinner and the
Right,
parent-teacher
so it's
conferences.
different now, so you need a bigger place, so why not do the auditorium
We
at the
can
high
see
school?
what's available.
at the what, high
Not-
school?
Yeah,
Not during the day.
right,
During the day, the auditorium's available.
right.
They use it for other activities, so
That-
you would have to go on school
Then
to
that-
see if
You have to
they-
see if they're using
Yeah,
it first.
But then you also are talking about a whole lot of people coming in and out.
For
which-
security.
For
Yeah,
security.
but they can shut that one side off and they go through there, they can
You
shut
wanna
it
make
off
sure
and
the
go through
kids
that way.
are,
Everybody know where the high school is.
And they're gonna be there anyways for the soul food dinner, so
Right.
anybody that's in the community would already know where to go.
It's convenient.
So we would just
well, we
check
just
with-
gotta make sure that the
Auditorium.
auditorium,
Can we
yeah.
check
We need to
into
make
that?
sure the school's available.
How about we do this? If the administrators want to determine where that meeting is going to be and let me know, I'll be there, wherever it is.
Okay.
If you make it in Hawaii, I'll make every attempt to be there too.
I'll take that
You'll
one.
have board member
Board members.
presence for that one. I'll volunteer to go to
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Oh,
Rest of you don't
spring
have
is on its way. It really is.
Okay, so that
It'll be here by
takes
May.
care of the survey and the community meetings then, right?
Yep, we're going to work on both of those. Then the next thing we need to set is the date for the meeting to get that report and set your criteria. And I know your board meeting is the 24th. Unfortunately, I've already got a commitment on the 24th, so I can't be here that day.
All right, so do
Make
we
it the
want,
next
I could do
board
the
meeting.
17th,
we-
if you can meet that Monday before that.
I have the 17th open. Does everybody,
midwinter
everybody
break.
else? Pardon me?
It's midwinter break.
Oh,
Oh, midwinter
Okay.
break. So that won't work.
Well, we could, but I mean,
But the 14th?
The 17th.
17.
Oh, so that's Valentine's Day, I got plans.
why don't we do it March 10th?
at your regular board meeting?
That's to set the criteria, you said?
It'll be setting the criteria and agreeing on the posting date, and then at that point, we can also determine the, when the interview dates are. Remember those weeks? And what I'll do between now and, I guess, let me clarify something first, and then between now and the 10th, I'll set up a couple of timelines that the board members can look at, prior to getting here. When do you want, I assume that you want your superintendent in place on or before June 30th? Okay. I think last time we were pushing to try and get it to May so that there would be a month of transition if necessary. Do you want to still look for having a superintendent in place the end of May?
I'd say go at the end of June, because we don't have all the extra time either.
Will they give us enough time to have them in place by May?
Yes. If
I think there's. there
I
needs to be a
played,
little
I
bit of
played
a
with this a little
transition
bit, a little
period.
differently, and I kind of had gone to the March 1st posting date, which now would move the posting to March 11th, so I'm off by 10 days. But putting it in, I had a close of April 16th for the application tentatively. And two reasons. One, I know there will be staff at MASB's office. I think last time, that's just before the spring break. And I'm going to be gone April 20th through the 30th. So, but that's your spring break anyways for most of that week. So, selecting your candidates, screening them, and I would suggest that we do that screening not at a regular board meeting, because remember, that took some time. So I did that for May 5th. If you closed April 16th, and then we did a screening of those, the public screening and selecting your candidates May 5th, that would give board members almost 2 weeks, week and a half, that the information, again, is confidential and you have to keep it, but it would give you plenty of time to actually review the applications. I think the last time, because there were quite a few applications, that there was some concern that there wasn't enough time to, to actually go through them on your own. So that would give you more time there. If we did selected the candidates, then you could do the interviews the week of, you could even do them that same week, or the week of May 12th, which is easier on the board members.
Yeah.
And then a second interview if necessary, either the week of the 19th or the week of the 26th.
26th, isn't that Memorial Day?
That
Yes.
Monday is, but,
6 is, yeah.
So it'll be the 27th.
right, though, I was just going by weeks, not
Right.
dates. So, and that gives us, if we need to move something, still almost 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, should along the way you decide, you know what, you need more time or you need something in between. Now, my other question to you is this, and we proposed it last time, the board decided just to do one general posting. You do have the option of posting internally and then going externally, or the one general posting.
How did we do it before? Did we do both?
You did it all together. It didn't make any difference as whether they were an internal candidate or not.
Say just do it.
Well,
Just
they
do it.
just
I'd
met
say do it.
qualifications, right?
Yeah, I'd say do both.
Okay, that's still my recommendation, however, I always want to give you the option. Some things that I assume I'm going to make some assumptions, and so make sure that I've got your support on that, that basically, if it's an out-of-state candidate, that the first interview is at their expense in terms of coming for that, and that's pretty standard. If you call a candidate back for a second interview, usually the board picks up the expenses for an out-of-state candidate. So that's kind of the question. I just want to make sure because I can tell you that I will start to get calls even though the position isn't posted yet, because it'll become known when you start these informational meeting things out. It'll hit the MASA sites that, there's an opening, so there will be calls and interest going through. So that's just kind of one of the questions we'll have to discuss. For the board members, that's the other piece, as long as we're doing that. I will forward, or have Kelly actually forward the survey for the board members. And that's the one that you have, the composite one that Ms. Beard sent to you from last time. But basically, it's that, at this point, it's your individual, what do you think? Okay? And it'll ask you about the educational, what level of education as an individual do you believe the superintendent should have up through, and there are some questions on that that is not, are not questions for the public. It's not on the public, for example,
So are we
salary
gonna
ranges.
Isn't that part of the, I guess I'm kind of confused, because we had already said that we were going to use the same criteria, but we're going to go back through it again? Or am I
Yeah,
under the wrong
well,
impression?
okay, then I may be off. My impression is that we're starting from ground zero, so you'll be looking at the criteria again.
That's what I thought too.
Because if you're going to have the meetings and you're going to do the surveys, then in order to understand, it may come to the same,
Yep, that
same,
makes sense. Yep.
so you might as well have all board members, again, do an individual, so that there isn't any question that anybody didn't have the opportunity to, give their individual opinion.
Right.
I will get those back from you, from each of you. You'll just email them back to me, and then I will do a composite or actually MASB's offices will do a composite of all of those, and that's what I'll have for you on that meeting, the 10th.
Okay.
So it's going to be a tight timeline. I'll try and get the form out to the board, the blank form to the board members within the next, if not tomorrow's Tuesday, by Wednesday. So if you can get that back to me sometime like the following week, that would be great. I'll let you go for about a week, and then I'll start sending those reminder emails that says I don't have this. So,
Do you need, and you'll need everybody's email again?
I will.
because
I'll get those.
believe,
Some may have changed.
Tom's an addition
Okay,
now.
yes, he is. And Mr. Kudrick will find out just how pesky I can be. And
You've never met my wife.
I say, with kindness, that I kind of want to make sure I will not, I will constantly nudge
My mother-in-law.
as reminders. And I'll, if it's okay with the board, then I'll follow basically that same format of any information I send out, I will send out to all board members. I will use Ms. Beard as, the sounding board to communicate with other board members. But because it all needs to be done in a public forum, When you reply back to, if it's an email message to all, the full board, and you want to reply back to me, please reply only to me, not to reply all, so that there's no danger of violating the Open Meetings Act.
Right. Could you run down the dates again, just so that we're all, I missed some.
Yep, and we'll set the timeline at the next time I meet with you, which is on March 10th, but on February 13th, Thursday, 9:30 and 6 p.m. meetings, places to be determined. Then on March 10th, which is your regular board meeting, I will be back to meet with you to discuss the results of the survey, the public meetings, and the board members' surveys.
That's on March 10th?
March 10th.
Okay.
At that meeting, we'll set the rest of the timeline, and and I'll go through some of the other criteria as a review.
March 10th, we set the rest of the timeline.
Yep, we'll set the rest of the timeline. What I have proposed is, and I only did this by weeks, around April 16th, that it'll be the close, which means applications will become available to the board members. May 5th, a meeting to do the selection, or sometime that week. May 12th, that week, first interviews. And then we'll set a potential second interview either May 19th, the week of May 19th or May 26th. So I'll do a couple of timelines, so those dates are tentative. And then what we want to do is to firm up those dates at the March 10th meeting so that we can publish those dates so candidates who are applying know that they need to be available for an interview on those times.
You should work both those days.
So you're saying on May 10th, we'll determine the
March
tentative-
10th. March
I'm sorry,
10th.
March 10th, we'll
Yep.
determine the
The rest of the
tentative,
days, yep.
solidify it so that the candidates know.
And everybody knows exactly.
And
Also,
at
the
that
public
time-
can know, and then they know when what meetings they need to attend.
And then at that time too, or are we gonna do that tonight? You mentioned something about out-of-state candidates. Are we
We'll
gonna
talk
discuss
about,
that on the 10th?
we'll discuss that on the 10th also, because that meeting on the 10th is when you're going to determine the criteria of what you're looking for in a superintendent.
Okay. Sorry, no.
Anything else?
No, Madam Chair, I just kind of wanted to go over our communication strategy to parents to let them know about the meetings. How are we going to do that? Now we're going to do it on our cable channel?
I have down robocalls, cable channel notice, city council meeting announcement.
Parent-teacher conference, soul food dinner. If they get missed in all that,
And I think
then
we
they
said
must
the
be in Florida for the winter.
newspapers, News Herald.
When is the elementary parent-teacher conference?
That's later.
March, okay, so we're
Also
only
do
gonna
the
get
newspapers, too.
we're only gonna get the
Yeah.
high school parent-teacher
Now,
conference.
is there any newspapers we can hit?
Telegram and News Herald.
The little paper doesn't really.
I
help
mean,
us
the
with
other, the
online.
two that you said,
Print.
Teresa, do they
Print
have,
paper.
Telegram and the News Herald
when do
and
they
the
print?
Eagle.
I mean,
Eagle.
we gotta know when their deadlines are to submit something. We
If we
might be
get, if we
past
get
it
it in
before.
them, they come out on Sunday and Wednesday, so
we
you'd have to
gotta-
get it there by Friday for them.
Yep. Freddie comes out
Okay.
like on the 9th.
And then,
And we're gonna communicate the meeting and the online survey, right?
Right,
Okay.
right, is it that what that letter is?
Okay, I just wanna make sure, we had a plan and I understood what that was.
You put it on I believe it
We
was
also-
on the website.
Website too.
We were gonna put it in the building newsletters, and we were also gonna send a separate flyer home in backpacks.
we can put it on Facebook, because there's one in there for the Romulus schools too, so,
On Facebook, okay.
There is?
yeah, there's
Okay,
one on there.
After all these different avenues, we should hit mostly everybody.
Isn't there, Tammy?
Now, you,
They don't know,
kind of-
apparently they're not on the
That's my
group, I know
recap.
you and Linda.
Could,
know about it.
could the city give us a day on those digital signs in town?
Maybe.
Can we find out?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we got the digital signs up in town and, in front of City Hall too, that maybe we could get
You have to get an application to fill out for those, because we were gonna use it for,
I think if we use it, if we
you
get
have
the
to fill out a
superintendent
form and
for
go
the,
through the Downriver Business.
get the superintendent, and
DDA?
talk to the mayor, we might be able to get it done pretty easy.
To the DDA, maybe? Well, I mean, it's a thought, just in case.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Should be standard.
Yep, and it's basically fill in the blank. So it has the information.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I have it on my iPad right now, actually, so I can show it to you guys tonight.
On the 12th is your soul food dinner. You don't need me at that meeting, do you?
No.
Okay.
No,
So I will be there wherever on the 13th.
unless you want some good food. You're always welcome to come.
Oh, wait, some good food, too.
Oh,
For $1 more, we'll supersize the chicken for you.
I look like I need supersize.
Hey, I was looking at revenue that day. Miss West yelled at me.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other
Again, you
questions?
have my email address. You have my phone number on the cards there. So if
Everybody
anything
has
should come
a
up.
Marie's card at their place setting, correct?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
So feel free to contact me and I will get
Got all
back
them
with you.
dates.
Okay,
Thank you. Look forward to working with you again.
Have a safe drive back.
Careful. Okay, we're at the portion of our meeting, communications and expressions from the public. I don't have anything unless somebody has something they want to say tonight. Okay, next item is questions and concerns of board members. Mr. Kudrick.
Okay, I actually got a couple of them, and I'm gonna probably get beat up with one of them. But last Friday, I had the privilege of going to a couple of the elementary schools. I went to Barth and met one of our nice teachers over there, and I'm gonna mess up her last name. What's that?
Blankman.
Flankman. I'm glad I didn't say it, but she was doing a connection or a coordination of efforts with one of her former employees, Kathy Hurst, whose son is actually deployed overseas in Afghanistan, and they have it called Mothers of Soldiers, and they were collecting stuff that they could send over to the service members, and I found out about Facebook. They were posting and sharing everything, so I was able to take some stuff over there to them and meet some of the staff and meet our principal over there. It was very nice, and building looked good, and students were being behaved, and it was a pleasure. And then I went over to Hale Creek, which I was invited by Miss Carter's class over to third grade, and we had a choice of reading the book or letting them do the activity, and I always like to watch them do activities because they have to come up with a bunch of different words, and it was very interesting, and they just came back from a testing that they were going on, and they were bragging about how well their scores came up, and I told Miss West this, and I challenged the class, actually, the third grade class, if they can all get their scores up by 10 points, I would treat them to pizza in May. So Miss West saw that was a great idea, and the class was willing to accept the challenge. So in May, I'll let you know if I have to buy pizza for 35 third graders. So
Bribery, you get them every time on it.
you got to go where the heart is, right in their stomach.
Yep.
But other than that, it was pretty good.
Ms. Bowles?
No, I don't have anything, any questions or concerns. I just want to say I did enjoy the Dr. Martin Luther King ceremony. I really enjoyed that, and anybody that didn't come, you missed a treat.
The pancakes were great.
Mrs. Kraut?
Tomorrow night is Student of the Month. 6 o'clock at the high school. And were we supposed to have a PowerPoint presentation from ABM tonight?
I emailed it to you.
We got it. Oh, you know what? Yahoo would not let me in. They were having technical difficulties. All day today I tried, and I just couldn't get in.
I emailed it.
It's a
to you.
firewall.
So if you
They have
don't
it.
get it,
They weren't scheduled to come here. We were just scheduled to get their presentations for us to review.
Oh, all right.
So,
I would like to make a comment. I mean, I've thought about it, and it's nice to know that we'd have a new prioritized need list with their wanting to update electrical and mechanical equipment. But for me, the way to get out of debt is not to take on additional debt. And many Romulus residents have had to put off needed home improvements because of our 30-year school bond debt, which I think we still have 11 years to go. We have a school budget deficit that should now be our priority for every dollar available. And until that is eliminated, it should be no to spending except for necessities.
I agree with that.
Our taxpayers they're already in debt for the school bond, and they're in debt for now the budget deficit, and to ask them to go into debt for more, when we haven't eliminated the budget deficit yet, seems unfair.
Are you talking about what ABM's doing?
Yes, $3.5 to $4 million more debt that.
There's no money, Sandy, that the district paying, and there's no money that the residents are gonna pay on taxes. It's the money that we're already paying on our utility bills.
It's the savings.
Is how it's funding, and then the money that we actually will save, we can actually pay for things. So we're using our money more wisely through the district, instead of paying so much.
There's legislation that says they cannot do it unless it's a savings to the district.
Right.
If they can't,
They had on their list boilers. We put in 3 new boilers, and I haven't heard anybody saying we're saving thousands. I mean, I haven't. So improvements are nice, but when you have a budget deficit, I mean, you have to put some things off, just like in your home. You can't take on additional debt. It's sort of like, if I got laid off, I can't go out and buy a new car and say, oh, well, I'll get better gas mileage because for going to my job interviews. Sometimes you have to put the horse before the cart.
But they're not doing large purchases like boilers, so they're just doing small infrastructure changes.
$3.5 to $4 million is not small. And they did have it on the list that I saw at the last meeting.
there was boilers on the list, you're correct, and the boilers on the list, some of them, one, they were able to keep, some of the buildings that they're, inactive, they said, and then also, what it is, the way they explained it was, the money that we are already paying for our utilities is how this bond would be funded. There's no bond that goes to the taxpayers, it's put on any tax resident. It's the money that we're already paying for our utilities now. We will actually save money, and they're gonna guarantee that we're save money. If we don't save money, they will write us a check for the difference.
But we're
So the-
budget deficit. If they
but-
divided our school
but
district
the-
up, we're still, the
But
taxpayers are still stuck with
it is
that.
part of the budget deficit, because instead of paying $4 million
People
for
like that.
utilities,
That's
we
gonna look
only
good on
may
the
pay
budget deficit,
3.5.
right.
So
And
we're actually
doing
saving.
ways to save money.
And then we have that extra money that we can put on other
Right, in the
products
general
or
fund.
items within the district to fix.
Because there are some things that are gonna break down that we're not gonna be able to, we won't have the
That
money,
we will have to pay
period,
for if we're not
exactly,
in this,
fix
right?
Right.
Out of pocket.
If we have to replace boilers or the new light system, because some of the lights we have, we can't get the bulbs for them right now because they're outdated. So we're gonna have to replace all those systems
gonna
eventually, and
cost
it's
you a
gonna cost
fortune
us
for
out of our
them.
pocket, whereas this
We should
grant,
steal some out of the
Because they're going to the mall.
they're probably out, I'd imagine that's outdated too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. They should work on ours.
Okay, Mr. Theed?
Are you done, Sandy?
I'm sorry. Sorry, Ms.
I'd like to piggyback off what Tom said about Miss Flinkman over there. I've dealt with her a few times on some fundraisers and charities, and she's always seemed like she's, with a lot of our teachers actually, not just her, but a lot of them always out doing something. Last week I also attended a MLK assembly over at Rommel, and it was well put together. Nice and quick and orderly, and it ran just like it was supposed to. And I think Miss Whalen's class was the best one, I'm not sure. I just want to maybe state that for the record.
I wonder why that
I was
is.
just throwing it out there because they were the last, and it seemed like it made it flow. And also too, I know we don't have school tomorrow, correct? It's another frigid day, and it's supposed to be really cold,
So
so.
we might not have school in the evening if there's no
Yeah,
school.
well, we won't, yeah,
No
there won't be,
school.
so.
I heard on the
It's
news.
postponed it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's canceled.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
already,
It's on
we
the
were one of
news.
the last
They had it.
districts, weren't we?
Oh, I went from work.
Everybody last night and this morning was canceling. Yeah. So,
Yeah, you do.
So bundle up. Yeah,
We'll be
bundle
by
up.
to pick them up.
And it's supposed to get cold all week, again.
It's board member appreciation, Ms. Sears.
Mrs. Buckley? Are you finished, Mr.
No, I just heard that the MLK celebration, I could not, that's the first one I've missed since they started, so broke my heart, but I could not be there.
Pancakes were great.
Yeah, yeah, so, but I heard that the ceremony was very good, so. Kudos to all that put that together. I know a lot of work goes into those kind of things, and I know the weather was frigid too, so those that walked, kudos to you as well, so. That's it for me.
Mrs. Funderburk?
Yes, we have coming up at the high school, it's a Cash for College night. This will be actually night 2. January 21st, we had a financial advisor from University of Michigan actually come out and talk to the parents, give us some information on scholarships and filling out the free financial aid application. She was extremely informative. She gave us some really good ideas on how to save money and purchasing books to go for scholarships money. She talked about the different types of money that is available to students. You've got your loans and your financial aid. You've got your scholarships and the family contributions. So she did a really good job. There is going to be a part 2, February 4th at 6 p.m. So after you get your early college orientation and ask all your questions, you can hop on over to the media center and hook up some information on how to get there for the financial aid piece if you got seniors. So that'll be February 14th at 6 p.m. in the media center.
14th or
14th.
I'm sorry, 4th. There's one on February 11th at 2 p.m. And that's in the RHS Lab 214. And then there's another one on February 20th at 2 p.m. Same place in the RHS Lab at 214. And those will be hosted by our guidance counselors. So it's February 4th, February 11th, and February 20th. So we got a lot of different opportunities out there for you all to get some resources on some free monies for your students to go to college.
Is the 4th at 2:32?
It is at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And if you have any questions, you can call Ms. Gordon at 532-1038, or you can send her an email at dlgordon, Gordon, at romulus.k12.mi.us. That's it.
Okay. And I don't have anything. I just would like to say that I apologize for not being at the MLK thing on Monday. My husband and my son were there, and so we have to split our duties. One stays home and one gets to go, so I lost. With that, I think I don't have anything else. Anna, do you think you could get us, or Mrs. Bales, or updated calendars on kind of the events happening at, like at the elementary schools, their assemblies and stuff like that, so we can? That'd be great. And I need a motion for adjournment,
Madam
please.
Chair, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Kudrick, supported by Mr. Theed. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion opposed. Motion carries 7-0. Motion, meeting's adjourned at 7:59.